I got a stool for it. Alright, so the RTX 20 series GPU equipped gaming laptops have started rolling in and I am excited. Was excited. Well, this is the MSI GS75 Stealth. As far as slim gaming laptops go, this is one of my favorite looking. Aluminum build with a matte black sandblasted case and some classy gold accents. Whew. Man, if I was at a party, I'd get those digits. Except, what's up with those plastic gold hinge covers? Yeesh. Build quality is all right for a large 17-inch laptop. I feel like the GS65 was a little more stable, whereas the GS75 feels and sounds more like an over-the-hill yoga instructor, creaking and cracking while trying to show off how flexible it is. Same thing with the display hinges. I mean, it's a nice one-finger opener, but closing it, you gotta be a little careful because the tension sort of gives out at around 30 degrees and can slam shut. Speaking of the display, for a 17-inch 1080p IPS panel, it's pretty great. It's got nice thin bezels and gets about 99% sRGB and 78% Adobe RGB, so not bad for content creation. Gets nice and bright up to 330 nits, and with 144 Hz refresh rate, AAA titles are a walk in the park, and competitive titles are of course as smooth as silk. There's a good offering of ports with 3 USB A 3.1s, 2 USB-Cs, with one being Thunderbolt 3, which is perfect for an eGPU if you needed one. There's an HDMI out, a couple of audio ports, network port, power port, and a micro SD card reader. Yeah, micro SD. Okay. So yeah, lots of ports except they're on the sides. So if you've got this on your desk with a bunch of shit connected, it'll end up looking like Dr. Octopus, which isn't really a good look. 2 bottom firing speakers is what we're working with here, and I gotta say, not impressed. Like, they get loud enough for sure, but they just sound so hollow and tinny. Watching videos on YouTube, I feel like I'm listening to a radio from the 1930s. I like the keyboard, it's pretty nice. The keys have good spacing and a nice travel distance of about 1.5 millimeters. It's RGB backlit, which you can adjust with the SteelSeries keyboard software. The ClickPad style trackpad's pretty awesome. It's glass, so it feels great, and it's wide as hell, so you've got plenty of surface area. The only problem is, because it's so goddamn wide, I found it super difficult to type without constantly pressing the right click with my right palm. I like the idea, but I'm not too sure about the practicality of it. Taking off the bottom was really quick and easy, and I didn't even have to use drugs, which is always nice. But once we're in, we've got access to the Wi-Fi card and 3 M.2 slots instead of the typical 1 or 2 we normally see, so that's pretty sweet. Unfortunately, the only way to upgrade the RAM is by removing the motherboard to get to the other side, and that's about as fun as mixing cement, so forget that. And then there's the 82 watt-hour battery. For productivity, it's actually pretty good. Got about 6 to 7 hours depending on how much video content versus web browsing I was doing, and that's at about 60% screen brightness. For gaming, got about an hour, hour and a half. So, gaming performance and thermal management on a thin and light gaming laptop isn't easy to achieve, which is why they went with a Max-Q variant GPU, but I'll be totally honest, I was expecting better performance. My unit comes with the typical i7-8750H, has 16 gigs of RAM but can go up to 32, an RTX 2070 Max-Q, which we'll definitely be talking about, and then a 512 gigabyte Western Digital M.2 NVMe SSD with some pretty crazy speeds. Now, stress testing revealed instant CPU power limit throttling that brought in-game CPU boost clocks down to around 3.3 gigahertz. So, of course, I decided to mitigate that with a cheeky, quick, and easy undervolt of 145 millivolts, which brought it right back up to the all-core max boost clock of 3.9 gigahertz. Well, at least in most games. With Battlefield 5, it bounced around between 3.7 to 3.8, which is still much better, but frame rates aren't what I was expecting, and unfortunately, that's because the Max-Q 2070 variant is fairly nerfed compared to the standard laptop variant 2070. And because of that, it struggles quite a bit to stay above 60 FPS on high settings, and then you throw ray tracing in even on the low setting, and it's even worse at 42 FPS. Now, that being said, with other games that aren't as much of an unoptimized gong show like Battlefield is, it actually did pretty good, but at the same time, because it's running a new RTX 20 series GPU, I was still expecting better results. Now, temperatures get pretty high at up to 87 degrees Celsius on the CPU and 74 on the GPU, but are kept in check using the cooler boost fan setting in the MSI Dragon Center software. Yeah, it gets pretty loud on that setting at around 53 decibels, but it's nothing compared to most other bigger gaming laptops out there that get similar temperatures even with max fan speeds. On auto fan speed, even though it's quieter by about 15 decibels, everything goes up by about 5 to 7 degrees, so the cooler boost setting is actually doing what it's supposed to. Or at least it's trying. Anyways, there's a few different GS75 configs depending on your region and really how much you want to blow. The one I have is the mid-tier here in Canada for around $3,000 Canadian or about $2,400 US. Now for the money, there aren't many laptops out there that look better than the Stealth, and I do like some of the minor improvements MSI made. However, again, I was expecting slightly better gaming performance, slightly better build quality, and I'm pretty disappointed in the speakers. I don't know, maybe I set my expectations too high. Like, am I asking for too much or am I being fair? Drop me a comment and let me know. Either way, we'll have to wait for more RTX equipped laptops to start rolling in to really get a sense of what we should be expecting. But that about wraps it up for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it sure would be swell if you tap that like button. And if you're new to my stuff, don't forget to subscribe for new videos. But thanks as always for watching, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Cheers.